Hi everyone. So before I get started, please, I want you to like, share, subscribe. Look at the links in the video description below. Consider becoming a member of the channel. You'll get access to lots of exclusive content. So I have been updating my market failure playlist. I've covered negative externalities of production, common pool resources, negative externalities of consumption, and demerit goods, positive externalities of production. This video, I'm going to talk about positive externalities of consumption, which are associated with what we call merit goods. Okay, so merit goods are the goods and services that, when consumed, they generate external benefits for the rest of society. They don't just benefit the individual consuming them, but they also benefit the rest of society. Examples are education, healthcare, and vaccines. These are all examples of merit goods because the consumption of all of these goods doesn't just benefit the individual, but benefits the rest of society. Now, because they generate external benefits for the rest of society, the MSB is higher than the MPB. This is due to the external benefits that are generated from consumption. And this results in a situation where QM is less than Q opt. The quantity that is provided by the market is less than the socially efficient quantity, and there's a welfare loss due to the underallocation of resources. So let's look at the diagram. All right, now on the supply side, the MPC and the MSC align. They are the same curve. But on the demand side, there is a misalignment or a divergence between the MPB and the MSB. The MSB is higher than the MPB. So now we have two intersections. The intersection of MPC and MPB, this one here, that gives us PM and QM. That's the quantity provided by the market, QM, and the price charged by the market. And the intersection of MSC and MSB, that gives us Q opt. That's the socially efficient quantity, and P opt. That's the socially efficient price. The intersection of MSC and MSB is the point of allocative efficiency. When you draw an arrow, or sorry, not an arrow, a triangle from QM to Q opt, it's this triangle here. That's the welfare loss, or basically the potential welfare gain. This is the welfare loss because of the underconsumption of this product. QM is less than Q opt. There's a problem of underconsumption. So the market has failed because it's under allocating resources, and this under allocation takes the form of underconsumption. Now, the vertical distance between MSB and MPB, that vertical distance is the value of the external benefits or the positive externality. So remember, the vertical distance is the measure. That's how we measure the external benefits. The triangle pointing from QM to Q opt, that's the welfare loss or the potential welfare gain. MSB is greater than MPB because of the benefit to society being higher than the benefit to the individual. The distance between QM and Q opt, this horizontal distance, is the amount of underconsumption because of the underallocation of resources. Okay, so how can the government correct this market failure due to positive externalities of consumption? Remember, positive externalities of consumption are associated with merit goods. There are four different ways. The first one is subsidies, which will shift the MPC curve to the right, bringing QM closer to Q opt. However, this involves an opportunity cost, and this involves government spending, which needs to be justified to taxpayers. Direct provision affects the diagram the same way as subsidies. So subsidies is when the government subsidizes the private sector that provides this merit good. Direct provision is when the government directly steps in as a producer and provides this good or service. Again, it will shift the MPC, the MSC curve to the right, bringing QM closer to Q opt. And again, that involves spending money, the government spending money, which comes at an opportunity cost. This money could be spent elsewhere and needs to be justified to taxpayers. So option 1, which is subsidies, and option 2, direct provision, will shift the MSC to the right. So first, let's put QM and Q opt. So this is PM and QM, and this is Q opt and P opt. So the subsidy, what it will do is it will shift the MPC MSC to the right, bringing QM, so we'll call this MPC plus subsidy or direct provision. Both of them have the same effect on the diagram, okay? So this is option 1 and option 2, okay? They will shift the MPC to the right, bringing QM closer to Q opt and making the product more affordable. This is the price here that the consumers pay, but P opt is the price, becomes the price that the producers receive because of the subsidy. If it's direct provision, that leads to a lower price for consumers, but there's no higher price for producers. Okay? So the difference between PC and P opt is only in the case of there being a subsidy. But if it's direct provision, it will just lead to a lower price for consumers, but no higher price for producers. Okay, so again, subsidies and direct provision will increase the supply and thus shift the MPC curve to the right, bringing QM closer to Q opt. Both solutions involve an opportunity cost and need to be justified to taxpayers. There are also solutions that target demand. Through legislation and regulation, the government can pass laws that force everyone to get this vaccine or force parents to put their kids in school up until a certain age or whatever. Legislation and regulation helps shift the MPB curve to the right, bringing it closer to the MSB and bringing QM closer to Q opt. However, this can sometimes be seen as a violation of people's liberties, especially in countries where liberty is taken a little bit to the extreme, like the United States. Some people get a little bit crazy about their like, oh, my freedom and all of that. So it may be seen as too paternalistic, and libertarians might be like, the government's not my parent, you can't tell me what to do. So that's kind of like an evaluation talking point. Education and awareness creation. So by educating the public about the benefits of this good or service, the benefits of vaccination, the benefits of seeing your doctor for an annual physical so that you can catch anything early, the benefits of getting a vaccine. Again, this shifts the MPB curve to the right, bringing it closer to MSB and bringing QM closer to Q opt, but involves an opportunity cost and requires justification to the taxpayers as well. So options 3 and 4, they target the MPB. So what they do is they try to shift, again, remember, MPB and MSC, that's QM and that's PM right here. But MSB and MSC, that's Q opt and that's P opt. So by using legislation, regulation, and education awareness, options 3 and option 4, they will shift the MPB curve to the right, bring it closer to bringing QM closer to Q opt. So remember, subsidies and direct provision will affect supply. They increase supply, okay? And they make the product cheaper, all right? Legislation and regulation will target demand in the case of merit goods, and they shift the MPB curve closer to the MSB. But the end result is the same. Both categories, or all 4 solutions, aim to bring QM closer to Q opt, aim to close this distance due to the underallocation, aim to encourage allocating more resources to the provision of this good or service. So what did I cover? Again, I said positive externalities of consumption is when the consumption of a product benefits both the individual and the rest of society, generates external benefits for the rest of society. It's associated with merit goods. In this case, the MSB is greater than the MPB because of the external benefits, and the result of this is that QM is less than Q opt. There's an under-allocation of resources that takes the form of underconsumption. Examples of merit goods are education, healthcare, vaccines. What can the government do? The government can either increase the supply through subsidies or direct provision, or increase the demand through legislation and regulation and education and awareness creation. Again, like, share, subscribe. Consider becoming a member. If you want to say thank you, you can buy me a coffee. All the links are in the video description below. Have a great rest of your week.